One South Jersey restaurant is enjoying its national acclaim by serving up more than good food for the community. The co-owner of Vagabond's Kitchen and Tap House will be joining us. Plus, we discuss the latest news on DACA and the current status on the immigration front. It's all here on the next Latino Motion. Join us.
Choose to get lost in the woods, to gain experience in forest management.
Choose to travel through time, to understand the past.
Choose to soar, to pursue a career in dance.
Stockton University offers 50 high-quality academic programs, small class sizes, and affordable tuition. Choose to match your interests and talents at one of New Jersey's nationally ranked universities.
Latino Motion with Bert Lopez is presented by Latino Motion Public Affairs Media, a New Jersey nonprofit corporation, and Stockton University. This edition of Latino Motion with Bert Lopez is brought to you by the HD Studios at the campus of Stockton University. Funding for Latino Motion is provided by Atlanticare, a member of Geisinger, Atlantic City Electric, energy for a changing world, and South Jersey Gas. Welcome to Latino Motion, a weekly interview show highlighting issues impacting New Jersey's Latino community while advancing understanding of Latino cultural heritage and contributions to our society. And here is your host, Bert Lopez.
Buenos dias and welcome to Latino Motion. 2 years ago, one South Jersey restaurant that was already a local favorite was on the national spotlight on the popular Food Network show, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. And of course, I'm talking about Vagabond's Kitchen and Tap House. And I'm happy to have Elvis Garvey, who's one of the co-owners, joining me here today. Elvis, welcome to Latino Motion.
Thank you for having me.
And a lot of success has come your way. We want to go back to that pinnacle day that you made it into that Triple D show to tell us about how you got started.
Well, it started just about 5 years ago. I was working as a bartender at this little local spot called Vagabond. And that was about August. Come October, Hurricane Sandy hit. And so that devastated most of the region. I found myself in a good position to purchase the restaurant, which I did with my partner, Tom Harris. And we opened that back up in March of 2013. So fast forward about 4.5 years, and now we've been on national TV. We've been recognized for a lot of local competitions, and we've won, our fair share of awards.
So going from a bartender at the time to owner of the restaurant, what did that feel like?
It feels good because I've had the experience of being behind the bar, being in the kitchen, or being the waiter, or being the manager. There's really not much that can get by me.
So let's talk a little bit about yourself. You also have Colombian roots, and you were local here in South Jersey as well. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, being raised in Atlantic City, going to Star to Sea, Atlantic City High School, both my parents are from Colombia, so that has a big influence on what we do in the kitchen. My menu is Latino. We serve chicharrón, we serve carne asada, el arroz con frijoles. I mean, nice. There is a big influence of Latin food on our menu, tacos, quesadillas, and the list goes on and on.
So to get the pinnacle of success that you achieve, what do you attribute your secret? Obviously, the food's important, but what other factors came into play?
Being involved. Being involved is very important, especially with the community. They rally behind us. They support us. We support them. In return, we do the fundraisers. Right. We hand out the scholarships. We created a nonprofit called Vagabond Charities. Right. And we're always, we're evolving with the community, trying to grow our business, also bringing the community together.
Now, you've also expanded. So you started out with this the restaurant, which is in Atlantic City. Tell me about that location and the other locations.
So Atlantic City is the hub. And then we opened up Vagabond Burgers, Fries, and Shakes out in Galloway at the Exchange. We also have Cafe 80 West at the Exchange, which does coffee, and it's a soup kitchen.
And that's right across from the hospital?
It's between the hospital and Stockton University. And then also we have a place at Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City. So during any major events, concerts, boxing fights, you'll see us there too.
Do you expect to continue to expand?
I need to take it easy because it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of them involved. And you also have a lot of people that are working with you that are family members as well, correct?
Absolutely. You know, my mom, my uncles, I have cousins that work for me, but you know, a lot of good friends. I have a great staff, and without a really good staff and that support, I wouldn't be at where I'm at today.
That's important. So we want to talk about the food. That's all important food. We want to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Latino Motion. Welcome back to Latino Motion. I'm here once again with Elvis Garvey with the now nationally acclaimed Vagabond's Kitchen and Tap House. And let's talk about the food. And obviously, you wouldn't have reached the success without good quality food. We kind of talked about some of the Latino influences in your food. But let's talk about the food that won that national acclaim. Tell me a little bit about those dishes.
So, you know, tequila shrimp bangers was a dish that we had that till this day is our #1 seller. Right. You know, you got nice sized shrimp that are just tossed in light flour.
Sounds like it's a little spicy, huh?
It's got a little spice to it. Absolutely, okay. Yeah. It's got tequila in the sauce too, right. So can't leave it out. But very, very popular dish. Also, we have the turkey apple brie on a cranberry walnut toast with a pepper jam that I just spicing up a little bit too. Our oven roasted turkey that we make in house ourselves. Brie cheese, which gives it a little bit of that good saltiness, and we have thin slices of granny apple, and the combination of all that makes a unbelievable sandwich.
So you are involved in the kitchen as well. You help prepare the dishes.
Very much so. Yeah.
And is that a passion of yours? How do you get? Obviously, you worked in many avenues in hospitality, but being in the kitchen's a little bit of a different animal. It takes a little special skill.
I was always front of the house.
Okay.
My passion was the kitchen.
Oh, okay.
You know, so now that I have my own place, I live in the kitchen.
Nice.
You know, so you know, my business partner, he runs the front of the house. He's with the hostesses. He's hanging out by the bar and he's having a good time, and I'm grinding things out in the kitchen. So the kitchen is definitely my passion now.
Let's talk about some of those other dishes.
We have the three-way sandwich, which is definitely one of our most popular sandwiches on our menu. We make our own barbecue sauce from scratch. Every few days we just make 10 quarts of barbecue sauce. We actually sell it and we have it at the table so you can put it on everything that you order. We have candied bacon. So the candied bacon is terrific. You have honey and fresh cracked pepper in the oven, and then you have your candied bacon. Our pernil, which is our pulled pork, just tossed in our barbecue sauce, and then we also have our brisket. So the combination of those three on a fresh brioche bun is the three-way sandwich.
So sounds very delicious, making me hungry. But you have those 3 locations, right?
Yes.
The main location being at the Atlantic City location, the Boardwalk Hall, and the one at near Stockton. What's served there?
All the locations have a little bit from the original menu in Atlantic City. Boardwalk Hall has the sliders, has the tequila shrimp bangers, has barbecue chicken sliders. It has cheesesteak spring rolls. We have a few different beers on tap. You need a nice beverage when you're watching a concert or a sporting event. And then Galloway has a good portion of our menu with the addition of all the burgers that we're really known for. The classics, the tequila shrimp bangers.
The college students love those burgers.
Oh, the college students, they eat it all up. They're big fans, and we're glad that they're close by.
So you're sticking with your favorites. Do you constantly change the menu, or you pretty much stick with what's working for you?
Always changing the menu seasonally. Every season, every fall and every spring, we roll out a new menu.
And do you have the same kind of flavors in terms of the spiciness?
We are looking to just be creative and stay fresh. You don't want to keep the same menu on because it might get a little boring. So we're always trying to reinvent ourselves, and I always like to continue to play in the kitchen.
And you have loyalty, right? You have the customers keep coming back all the time?
Yeah, our locals, that's what gets us through the off season. In the summertime, it's chaos, because all the out-of-towners are coming in.
Well, I know you're paying it forward with that loyalty to the community. We want to talk about that when we come back. We're going to be right back after these messages.
Latino Motion with Bert Lopez is presented by Latino Motion Public Affairs Media, a New Jersey nonprofit corporation. Join us online at www.latinomotion.tv. Find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We encourage your comments and contributions for show topics.
Welcome back to Latino Motion. I'm here once again with Elvis Garvey with Vagabond's Kitchen and Top House. Elvis, let's talk about your involvement in the community and how you're paying it forward with all that good work that you're doing out in the community.
Well, you know, with the success of Vagabond, it's helped us expand. It's helped us create Vagabond charities. We have a responsibility as local business owners, successful business owners, to be involved, to give back, to spend time and go out there and really mentor, you know, the younger youth. You know, that they need something to look up to. So, you know, with that said, you know, we get involved with anything that has to do with community. You know, we give out the scholarships, you know, and
Let's talk about, you also formed the foundation, so that's your avenue for giving back?
yes, Vagabond Charities was created about 2 years ago. We started an event called Vagabike. So, you know, we go with several hundred riders on the boardwalk and everybody pays into it, and so we created Vagabond Charities. And last year we handed out 7 scholarships.
Wow, that's good. That's amazing. That's great. And obviously, this is also helping to build some of the loyalty that you are so much seeking and have for your business right now.
The community sees what we're trying to do. Right. They see what we currently are involved with. So, you know, that gives them more of a reason to continue to support us.
Let's talk about you just recently got an award. I know me and you share a stage for the Hometown Hero Award, and you're a very elegant speaker. Are you seeing more of those recognitions?
I was very humbled to be honored this past week with yourself there. But, you know, again, you know, I'm just expanding the brand. I want everybody to know that, you know, we're involved and we care, and, you know, I care about the locals, I care about community, and, you know, again, you know, we have to set a good example.
Let's talk about your partner, because you guys go way back. Tell me a little bit about that relationship.
You know, me and Tommy, we go back to when we were in about 4th grade, Little League Baseball. His father was my coach, and we've been very, very good friends. When I found myself needing the financial backing, I ran into him in the gym, and I just pitched the idea because I literally was having a very hard time. You know, keep in mind, Hurricane Sandy. Right. Not everybody was crazy about investing, and Atlantic City was going through a hard time too.
And so that partner has lasted and is very critical for the success of this business.
Absolutely. He's been a very, very important part of this business. Every menu idea, every decision that we make together. So
tell me, what's ahead for you? What's ahead for Vagabonds?
We're just going to continue to work hard, be involved, give back, and, you know, it's a restaurant business. The moment you leave, it's not going to be the same. So you'll find me there every day of the week.
One final word. What message do you give to another Latino entrepreneur that wants to go into business? What's the best advice you could give them?
You know, just work hard, stay focused, and anything that you really want to do, you can do. I'm very grateful and very humbled that, you know, we've been able to do something special.
Perfect. Thank you for joining us on this show. I look forward to seeing you at the restaurant.
Thank you very much.
And please stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Latino Motion. Welcome back to Latino Motion. On Monday, February the 26th, the U.S. Supreme Court gave Dreamers more time by announcing that it wouldn't immediately take up the president's appeal that keeps the DACA program in place for now. Joining me back on the show is Yolanda Garcia-Balaki. She is the local attorney and also with the Immigration Committee of the NAACP. Yolanda, welcome back to Latino Motion.
Thank you for having me again.
So there's a lot of news around DACA, and obviously there's been a lot of debate, but let's talk about this most recent U.S. Supreme Court action. What does this mean?
Okay, so basically yesterday the court refused to act on President Trump's appeal directly to the Supreme Court on DACA. In 2017, after he rescinded the program, I believe it was in September, several states, namely two important ones, New York and California, appealed and requested injunctive relief. That injunctive relief was granted by the first level of the federal courts, and typically what happens after that, it's taken then to the Court of Appeals. President Trump bypassed the Court of Appeals, and basically what the Supreme Court said yesterday was, no, it's got to go back down for them to decide it. So in essence, it granted more time for DACA recipients to stay the course, because as a result of those injunctions, they were now able to continue to apply for renewal.
So exactly, so that's the main thing about this additional time.
Yes.
When was the deadline originally?
The deadline was set to expire this week coming up, March 5th, I believe it was. So now there's a hold on that. No new applicants are taken, but the ones who had status and who have expired can now reapply.
So what action, if you're a DACA, if you have DACA now, if it has expired or will expire soon, what action do you need to take?
They need to come see an attorney, or if they can file it on their own, but they should actually file for renewal. They're not taking new cases, but they will review applications for renewal.
Let's just talk about the importance of this. Some people are fearful with just renewing. Why is it so critically important that they do apply?
Well, because that gives them protected status from deportation. The White House and ICE has said that they are not focusing on DACA recipients for deportation. Actually, DACA gives them a protected temporary status from deportation, or removal, we call it now. So it allows them to legitimately get work permits. It allows them in some states, and New Jersey is one of them, to get a driver's license and also apply for a Social Security card, and therefore pay taxes to our state and local, federal taxes and state and local economy.
How involved is it to do the renewal?
It's very simple, very straightforward information. You can go on uscis.gov, that's the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services website. But sometimes you have to provide proof, and it gets a little technical, so the assistance of an attorney can, help. The fees are, I believe it's $410 or $400, I forget exactly, but around $410 just to file the forms, and then we charge, of course, a small fee to prepare the forms for the clients.
And obviously that's where a lot of the dreamers struggle with coming up with the fee, but it's important that they do.
Yep,
it's important that they file that. That means a whole life ahead of them.
Status,
right?
Yes.
Yeah, we want to talk a little bit about more of the status of other immigration topics that we want to talk about. We want to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Latino Motion. Welcome back to Latino Motion. Joining me is Yolanda Garcia Beliki, a local attorney, and we were talking about the immigration, particularly the DACA, and the fact that the U.S. Supreme Court bought them more time. Specifically, how much more time do they have?
Probably about a year. The Supreme Court then kicked it back to the appeals court, so that means they'll probably decide that case sometime this year. And then before the Supreme Court, they don't meet till October, so by the time they get the case back up to the United States Supreme Court, it may be another year before they actually make a final decision. Unless, of course, Congress decides to take some action and reinstate the program.
So right now, the important thing is to stay current with your DACA. So if it expires, you need to renew it, and you need to do that with ample time. Right. And make sure that you're taking care of that. That's very, very important to do.
Right, because the renewal also buys you 2 years, because it's renewable for 2 years. So if within a year there's been no action and you renew now, they may buy you an additional year because it's really for a 2-year period.
Let's talk about the rest of the immigration from, obviously, this DACA has been the one that's been talked about, and there really hasn't been much progress on any meaningful immigration reform, has there?
No, a couple of weeks ago, Congress was scheduled to have debates, and they did, but they could not agree. The Republicans and Democrats, they're fighting. There were some agreements on some issues, but they didn't come up with a comprehensive plan to take up to the president that he would sign. They did agree on some things, but nothing that they could take to the president that he would sign. So it's a stalemate right now.
Let's talk about the TPS. There's deadlines for that as well. Tell me where that stands.
Oh, so TPS for some countries is ending soon: El Salvador, Honduras, and Haiti. And that's temporary protected status, very much like DACA, so to speak. It gives you protection from deportation, allows you to be in the country. Some of the countries have been here, immigrants from those countries have been here more than 20 years because of the conditions in their country. But this president has sought to end those programs, and so they're going to be removed and told back to go to their country. Now, one way they can get around that is to adjust status in the United States. For example, if you are one of those TPS recipients and you marry a United States citizen, then you become eligible to adjust your status and stay here legally.
One important thing that I forgot to mention when we were on the subject of DACA, traveling outside the U.S. Good idea, not a good idea?
Not a good idea. You have protected status from removal of the United States, but you can travel, to Puerto Rico or the United States, but you can't go back to your country.
Yeah, and I know that sometimes people want to travel and they were able to do that prior, but at this point in juncture, it's not a good idea at all. All right, so we have a lot of food for thought. Obviously, we want to come back and talk about immigration as it continues to develop in Congress and in the Senate, and hopefully have an immigration reform in the near future. We're hopeful.
One can only dream.
All right. So again, thank you for joining us here on Latino Motion, and thank you once again for staying here on Latino Motion.
Choose to get your feet wet, to learn more about protecting our environment.
Choose to read minds, to understand the human brain.
Choose to get your hands dirty, to create a masterpiece.
Stockton University offers 50 high-quality academic programs, small class sizes, and affordable tuition. Choose to match your interests and talents at one of New Jersey's nationally ranked universities.
Funding for Latino Motion is provided by Atlanticare, a member of Geisinger. Atlantic City Electric, energy for a changing world. And South Jersey Gas.